Hey everybody, I'm Scotty J. You are watching Rock Titan Music Television. Got a great guest right now. You probably know him best as the lead guitarist for Puddle of Mudd. We are speaking with Paul Phillips.
What's happening?
You know, hey, it's all good. It's all good. What's happening with me? I think you got a lot more going on than I do, man. We're going to be talking about a new book and a clothing line and this band that you've been with now for the last few years that I know is really starting to click on all cylinders. It's pretty cool stuff, yeah?
Yeah, man. Just trying to stay busy.
Yeah.
You know, idle hands are the devil's playground.
Yeah,
so,
man. Right on. Right on.
Trying to keep at it and find things to make my mind go and have a purpose in life. So
right on. Well, obviously, you know, being a lead guitar and music is in your blood, you know. I mean, you had a lot of great success when you were with Puddle of Mudd, obviously. And now that you have moved on, we've got no tears, just blood. How's that project been, man?
You know, it's cool, and it's shocking to a lot of people when they hear it, because obviously I'm known, you know, mainly for Puddle. You know, I did my other band, Operator. I had a short stint in Rev Theory as well. Right.
It's hardcore, man. It's a lot more hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I listen to. I listen to metal, you know, Pantera, and lots of hardcore stuff. And that's what I've always been into. As a kid growing up, that's what I learned guitar on, and that's what I still listen to now.
Right on.
And not that I'm not proud of what we did in Puddle, because I put my heart and soul in those songs.
Sure.
And I'm very proud of how they came out. But me personally, I used to always say, I'm like, I probably wouldn't buy a Puddle of Mudd record if I wasn't in the band.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right, man.
It's true, and I'm not saying that because I hear great songs all the time on the radio and be like, man, that is a really, really great song.
Right.
I'm not going to buy it and jam it while I'm at the gym, but it's a really, really well-written song. You know, so I've always had this inner thing, this inner, like, just that punk, hardcore metal inside of me, and it kind of, during the Puddle time, I always called it the Kurt Cobain syndrome, to where I hated being on VH1. I hated being on TRL. I hated being on Top 40 radio with my band.
Yeah, who wouldn't, man? Who wants that kind of attention?
What's that?
Who wants that kind of attention, man?
Yeah, you know, exactly. I mean, my bank account differed. You know, as I've got it liked it.
Uh-huh.
And you know, as I've gotten older, I've mellowed out a little bit, and now I appreciate that stuff more. But at the time, I really did it. Like, I hated it. I just wanted to be the cool, grungy, you know, post grunge or whatever you want to call it.
Right, and that's exactly what Puddle of Mudd. Yeah, that's exactly what Puddle of Mudd was. You know, that post grunge. So, I mean, would it be safe to say then, at your core, you're a little more death metal?
I wouldn't say death metal, but I would definitely say
heavy metal
and punk and hardcore.
Right on.
That's what my heart is. I mean, I'll pick up an acoustic guitar and write a song that'll make you cry or make you want to slit your wrist. So
right on, man.
That's in there too. But yeah, I mean, the core of me has definitely always been in the harder stuff. Right
on. Now, I've seen a couple of your music videos with No Tears, Just Blood. What's the status of that band right now? I guess you had already put out, what, was it, I guess, an EP, or was it a full LP?
No, we're working on an EP.
Okay.
It's been very slow running. We've kind of ramped it up lately because it started just really for fun.
Right.
I had a friend of mine, Justin Sims, who I had known for a long time. He approached me, and I really wasn't doing music, just the whole Puddle thing, and I'd gone through a bad breakup, and I really wasn't doing much of anything. He was like, man, you need to go back to your roots. You need to start playing heavy stuff again. He's like, let's do a project. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, if you want to do something and, you know, for fun, just to get out some aggression and not take it seriously or try to make $1 million, then I'm down.
Right.
You know, so it started like that, and we got like a really slow start. I mean, we shot our the video for the first song we recorded for Sis, like
Right.
almost 2 years ago.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So now we're finally about to finish our EP now and hoping to release it in January.
Oh, dig it, man! Right around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
we're almost done now. Got a little more studio time, but it's gonna be 5 or 6 songs. I'm not sure yet. And right now, like I said, we're totally indie, and that's the way I like it. I have no aspirations of reaching any kind of success like I used to.
Well, it's not like you don't have connections,
I do have connections. That's true, but it's a whole different thing. It's
Sure.
a whole different element. People, if I go to those connections, they're gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
All right.
Where's Blurry? Where's She Hates Me?
Right.
Like,
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, but you're still rocking out. So, like, let's say, you reach out to Fred Durst or something like that, who introduced you to, Puddle in the first place, you'd be like, yo, Freddie, check this out, man. Have you had anyone of note already kind of paying attention to what you have going on with No Tears?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. I don't really want to mention it now because it just kind of talks. But there's been a few people that have looked at it.
That's
and
cool.
It's nobody that was in my old circle, because obviously, like I said, it's a whole nother world.
Sure.
But yeah,
cool.
I've talked with a few people, and they know that we're finishing up the EP, and they're waiting, and we got to get some shows under our belt and do all that sort of thing. Like I said, I have no aspirations. If I just put out this EP and get aggression out and play heavy music, play a few shows around town, great. If something else comes, even better.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being in different circles, and I can't imagine how time consuming it must be to have like your own apparel line. And of course, you've got it represented on your shirt right there. Demons behind me. Where did this come from, man? Where did this come from? How did this come about?
Well, after my time in Puddle, I kind of went downhill myself and really battled with alcohol and depression and things like that, and just did some things I'm not proud of, and really kind of lost myself, and I don't even know who I was at that period of time.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Well, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, when you're having all that success, and then all of a sudden it just kind of, flatlines there. I mean, that's going to be a tough transition for anybody. I mean, not everyone can just say, "Oh yeah, man, everything's so freaking phenomenal 1 second," and now all of a sudden you find yourself, not that things are necessarily bad, but you find yourself in a position where you don't know what's going to happen next. Like, you literally don't know. I mean, would it be safe to say that gave you a little bit of that anxiety and, potentially depression that you kind of battled with?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, when you're in a band, especially, and especially a successful band that's touring, the majority of the year, if you're making a record or something like that, like, that's your life.
Right on.
And your bandmates, that's your family. And what I realized, what happens in that, and being involved in that becomes your identity. Like, you're Paul from Puddle of Mudd. You're not Paul.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you need that to define yourself and have happiness, because that's who you are.
Right.
So you lose that, and then you lost yourself, and you're like, who am I? And like you said, yeah, what am I going to do now?
Right.
Luckily we had some success, so, I wasn't starving or
sure.
Going to the unemployment line, you know what I mean? So that's great. But yeah, I mean, after a while, you're just like, man, I got to do something. So yeah, that had something to do with my spiral, and I came out on the other side, and my fiance actually introduced me to this local clothing company called Demons Behind Me.
Right on.
And they were already existing, and I read their message and got what they stood for, and just totally connected with me in my head, because I left a lot of demons behind.
Right on, man.
So, so I totally connected with the message, and I was like, I have to get involved with these guys. So we just had a bunch of sit downs, a bunch of lunches, some dinners, some coffee, that sort of thing, and reached a way for me to come into the fold. And gotta say, I'm very, much like No Tears Just Blood, they were going really slow with it. And now we've really kind of started ramping it up, trying to we're like, okay, how do we take it to the next level? How are we not just a local Jacksonville, Florida company that goes to these events and sells T-shirts at the festival? Like,
right.
How do we take it to the next level? And so that's where we're at now. But I mean, it's so gratifying to see other people who connect with the message and get it, because that's what we're all about.
Sure.
So I love seeing that, and people sharing stories that, like, oh man, this is why I connect with it, because I went through this or I went through that, and it's really, I mean, it's great to have a clothing company. That's cool. I'm like, that's awesome. I got my own clothing company. Yeah, but when it has something that's deeper than that,
personal. Yeah, for you, it's personal. And I think it's
for me. And it's personal for other people.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. I mean, there are so many people, especially like in the more artistically driven industries, where you're putting so much of your emotional, self into what it is you are doing. Again, it can be easy to overreact in certain situations, or maybe not know how to handle it. But Demons Behind Me, to me, that's the more hardcore version of Life is Good. We all know what happened with Life is Good. So I got to ask, I mean, again, with Demons Behind Me, was there anything in particular? Did you ever think that you would be into apparel? Did you ever think that was something that would happen?
It's always something that I've had an interest in.
Yeah.
And I've thought about, and I just never either had the title or the right vision or the right artwork or anything like that. I'm pretty much, when it comes to art, I'm pretty much one-way road. I got music, and that's about it.
Right on.
When it comes to art, I'm not that guy that can draw and all this.
I was going to ask you if any of the designs with the brand had your stamp on it.
No, that would be my partner Jim. He does all the artwork, and he just comes up he just mops it up on his computer, sends it over to us, and we check it out. We say yay or nay, or touch this up, do that, and so no, it's not mine, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily going to let something come out that I hate.
Right on.
You know what I mean?
Now, is Demons Behind Me, is that associated with any retail shops at all, or is it exclusively online?
We have a few here in town, and then we actually just not too long ago, went to Vegas to the Magic Convention, which is basically like the NAMM, if you're familiar with NAMM.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, of course, yeah.
But it's basically the NAMM of clothing.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah, same thing. Same huge expo hall, clothing company set up, buyers come in and whatnot and check stuff out. So we got a few things starting up there as well. But I mean, right now, like I said, it's mainly online, and we're doing really well with that. But that would definitely be, the next level to get it. But at the same time, like if we did go into retail, it has to be somebody that gets it. It knows what we're about.
Sure.
It knows the message, because that's almost as important to us as the designs are.
Sure.
So that would be very important that they understood it and got what we were all about.
Right on. Very cool. Very cool. So talk about a message. I can't think about, sharing a message any better than through a book. So obviously you got your band, you got the apparel clothing line. I understand you're working on a book.
Yes.
Is this a biography? Is this a work of fiction? What is this?
It is my story. I somehow got a book deal because I know when you think of like rock star book deals, you think of Nikki Sixx / Steven Tyler and Paul Phillips. So,
right on, man. Yeah.
It only makes sense that I got a book deal.
Right on.
So no, the reason why is it's mainly a Christian book company. I mean, they do have distribution everywhere in all stores and stuff like that. But that's mainly what they do.
Okay.
And but they just really connected with my story. Somebody I know did a book for them, straight Christian, and they kind of made the introduction, and they were just really into my story about, obviously Puddle's going to be a big selling factor, but they also like the downfall of Paul and then the coming back up on the other side, the inspiration of it. So yeah, I've been working on it forever now, and I'm finally done with my part, and it's with the editors now. Okay. So it's really on their clock. As soon as they're done fixing my grammatical errors, because I've been out of college more years than I'd like to admit. but yeah, as soon as they're done with that, then we'll be set for release. I was hoping Christmas, but I haven't heard anything yet, so I'm thinking that's probably not going to happen.
How long's this been in the works?
Oh man, literally probably about 2.5 years.
Wow.
It's a big process. There's a lot of back and forth between my publisher, the person I'm writing it with, as far as getting approvals and fact checking and all that sort of thing. I mean, I was drunk half the time, or if not drunk, it's like I can barely remember what I did yesterday. Not drunk.
Right.
So
right.
I had to research myself. Like, what did you do this time? Because I have no idea.
Right. So how far back does the book go? I mean, how much of a chronology of your life is this?
It goes all the way from the day I was born.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. And where does it kind of end?
It ends on the day that I finished my part of it. Like literally, I kept writing and adding all the way until I handed it in probably maybe 4 months ago or so.
Yeah. Now, did you have a particular mission, in what you were ultimately trying to do with this book? Like, was it something that you were trying to do more for yourself? Was it something you were thinking that you had a message that could help other people? Like, can you talk to that at all?
There were a few things. I mean, obviously, it's an honor to even be asked to do it. And, so that intrigued me.
Okay.
And then also, the story of Puddle and like what really happened, and as far as the rise and the demise and band members leaving, band members coming back, all that sort of thing, and why we're not back together now, and all that sort of thing. There's a lot of stuff that people don't know, and I wanted to make a point to tell my side of the story the way I see it, my experience, without just going, on this date we played here,
sure,
we played this TV show,
sure,
and we did that. There was a lot more, life, everyday life and interactions and things going on with, not only with the band, but with management and our record label. I mean, there's, because we had all kinds of drama on all fronts. It seemed like constantly. So I wanted to get that out there too, and then finally, also, I wanted to, the book kind of sums up on a very positive note. So that's my other thing, is that hopefully people can see, that they're not the only one, and it happens to everybody. I mean, it
Sure.
happens to homeless people, it happens to doctors, it happens to lawyers, it
Sure.
certainly happens to musicians.
Right on.
Where you take that downfall, and you can turn it around. You can come out a better person than you were before, and I hope people get that. I mean, is the sex, drugs, and rock and roll in there? It most certainly is. I mean, that's what. I mean, let's be honest. That's what people want to read.
Right
But
on.
there's also a very inspirational thing going on, undercurrent that comes toward the end, and so I hope that people grab to that as well, and not just the dirt. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, but that's good. That's important, because it is so rampant. And now you got this new generation of musician that's coming up now, and it's kind of cool, I think, especially for someone in your position who's had a lot of success, and has also battled some of those demons along the way. So you can try to almost, serve as like that mentor, to the younger guys coming up of what to do and what not to do. And it's like, at the very least, it's a warning. It's like, hey, I can't stop you from doing this. I'm just going to tell you what happened in my life, and this is what could happen. Like if you guys decide to go off the rails, be prepared. I mean, why go through any kind of, arduous, stressful times if you don't have to? I know I'd certainly want to listen to what you had to say, and I'd want to know what you had to go through and not repeat those mistakes,
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it right. You can't tell people not to live their lives, and because I certainly did, and I certainly had a great time doing it. And I think it goes with all musicians who end up going down that road. It's like in the beginning, it's great. It's fun, you're partying, and let's be 100% honest here. There's a lot of great songs that have been written on some really heavy drugs. Let's just be honest about that.
Right on.
But after a while, it turns on you.
Yeah.
It turns on you.
Yeah. Well, it's a health thing. It's a health thing.
Yeah. It's a health thing. It's a legal thing.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
It's a family thing. It's a relationship thing. It's a friend. I mean, it just I mean, it affects everybody. After a while, I mean, it doesn't. If you're Lemmy and you can just keep doing it until the day you die, then hey, more power to you. I'm not going to stop you, but I couldn't.
No, right on. Now, speaking of health, you do kind of seem like quite the gym rat, and I know we were talking earlier on, about, working out, staying in shape, and, no one wants to see some big old fat frumpy gut hanging over his, rock jeans or leather pants, on stage. Is it fair to say that you spend quite a bit of time in the gym?
I do. And what you said right there is just on a side note, that's a good point. Is music should be about music, but let's face it, if it is some big fat dude who's got a great song, probably not going to get a record deal.
Well, it's an image, man. It's an image. It's an image.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that's part of it. Now, is that the reason that I started working out? No, I started working out because I was extremely skinny, like my whole life. Like people used to think my mother didn't feed me. And no, literally, they felt sorry for me, like something was wrong with me.
Wow.
Yeah, and I got teased a lot, like in middle school and high school. They used to call me Stick Man.
Really? Well, you should have done.
So that's what got me into working out. I started working out, and just my genetics, I still couldn't put on weight. I'd eat whatever I wanted to eat and live like crazy and drink my protein and all this sort of stuff, and I still couldn't. And then finally, I guess I matured enough to where I was able to. And at that point, once you start seeing results, it really inspires you. So at that point, I just became a monster. And then after going through my bad period, coming out on the other side, that's where I put my focus. It was almost like, to be honest with you, it was almost like another addiction.
Well, I was going to say if that's something that actually helped you with your sobriety.
Yeah, I just focused really heavily on that. I actually opened my own gym with a partner.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's it
I had
called?
my own gym for a while. Me and my partner didn't get along, so I had to part ways. That's a whole other story.
Gotcha.
But,
is it in the book?
but yeah, that's where. I'm sorry.
Is it in the book?
It's in the book, yes.
All right. I don't think. Does the book have a name yet? Does it have a title?
It does, but I can't share that yet.
Oh, Paul, you're killing me, man.
But I will tell you this. I will tell you this. When you see the title, when everybody sees the title, they're gonna go, duh.
All right. Fair enough. All right.
It's a very simple title.
All right.
If you really thought hard enough, you could probably figure it out.
All right. Cool. Well,
That's all I
Paul.
can give you.
Yeah. Well, I want to be sensitive to your time, man. But I just want to say congratulations, man. Congratulations on sobriety as a whole. Obviously, I wish you all the best with this new band. No, what is it? No Tears, Just Blood. I think that's freaking awesome. And when can we expect to see that EP again? I mean, is January a realistic date? That time frame?
That is what we're shooting for.
Okay.
And barring severe writer's block on our behalf or the studio burning down or something like that, that is very, very realistic. We have 2 songs to go that are written for the most part written. So that's a realistic time frame, and that's when I'm hoping to put it out. We actually have our first show on January 12th. So
very
my
cool.
goal is to actually coincide with that show and just have a big bang.
Awesome. And of course, we got to get Demons Behind Me out there. Everyone
Yes.
go out to their online shopping cart and go check out Demons Behind Me right down here. And then we got the book right around the corner. So awesome.
Go to www.demonsbehindme.com. You can obviously follow us on all your social media and stuff like that. And then yes, definitely look out for the book. I mean, if you were a Puddle fan, or if you were a fan of me, or you just want a good read of, like I said, train wreck, gone bad, derailed, and found its way back.
Life of a rock star, man. Yeah, right on. Well, everybody, again, we are here with Paul Phillips. And Paul, thank you again for your time, man.
No problem. Anytime, man. Thanks for having me.
Right on, man.
All right, brother.